What's up, guys? As you can tell, this isn't Ben. This is Eric from the Eric's Reloaded channel. Ben is on holiday, and he asked me to make a video for you guys talking about the new pictures released for the episode of The Flash Season 4 titled Run, Iris, Run. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, but before we get into it, careful for spoilers, and we're going to talk about the synopsis right now. So here's the synopsis for the upcoming episode Run, Iris, Run for this season. It says, Team Flash confronts a new bus meta, Matthew, aka Melting Pot, with the ability to swap people's DNA. During a battle with Team Flash, Harold transfers Barry's super speed, to Iris. Now with a new threat unleashed on Central City, Barry must act as the team leader while Iris takes on the mantle of a superhero Speedster in order to defeat their new foe. So although we've known for a while that Iris West would be suiting up as a speedster this season, until recently we didn't know how that was going to happen. Then the synopsis came out and we found out that it is in fact our Iris West. It's not a speedster from the future, not from an alternate Earth. It is our Iris from the show right now in season 4. And we're getting our first look at some high resolution set photos. Everything we've seen up until now have been leaked pictures, so we didn't really get a good look at them. These are all high res. And here's one of the first photos we got. And I have to say, I like the purple part of this costume with the white in the center. I'm not a big fan of the black gloves, black pants, and the black mask. I wish it sort of all fell in line because the jacket feels kind of disconnected from the rest of the costume. But I do like the way it looks. I think the purplish blue pops, and I like the white on it. It's very reminiscent of the character XS, Jenny Ognatz, and we'll talk about her in a second. I'll show a picture, but let's kind of flip through these photos and get a better look at this costume. So here in this shot, we get a really good look at the mask, and although it's very basic, I have to say I'm a fan of this design. I like it because they're getting away from putting that black smudging within the mask. For a while on all of these shows and even in the movies, they wanted that black all the way to the eye, so it looked like a full mask, but a lot of us fans see it and we know that it's not part of the mask. It's definitely a smudging. They do it a lot on Arrow, but over here on The Flash, they've kind of gotten away from that, and I do appreciate that look. I also noticed that they're going with the simple mask now, instead of the cowls like the one that Barry's wearing. Even with Kid Flash, they went with the topless headpiece, and they've gone even further now with our characters. They've gone with just the small basic mask. It's probably cost effective, and I actually think it's a cool aesthetic for them to have. So I am a fan of that part of the costume, as well as the attention to detail in the shoulders and the sleeves that we see here in this look. Here we get a really good look of the costume from the side, and it's very reminiscent to me of the Jesse Quick top, the way they have the stitching there on the side of the bodice. Going into the pants, which we have a detailed line coming down the side, which I didn't really notice in the first photo, but I see it here. So it looks like they are going with something a bit more practical for Iris, opposed to the more, like, I don't know, tactical slash superhero looks that we've had up until this point. And I'm kind of curious, is this costume going to be something that Cisco designs, or does this have something to do with the mystery girl that we've been seeing for a couple episodes now? Because what if she traveled here and this is a mock-up of her suit? Maybe she decided that she's going to tell the team who she is. She has a speedster suit, and they're going to redesign it for Iris. That's a big possibility. I would love to see something like that. So jumping away from those photos for a second, here's a picture of the comic book character Jenny Ognatz, aka XS. And as you can see, there is a very clear similarity between the costume design of this look and the one that Iris is wearing. So I feel like they are kind of playing off of that. Now, does this mean that the mystery girl could, that she's not going to be Jenny Ognatz and she has to be Dawn Allen? No, absolutely not. Like I said, if they end up using some sort of connection between this new character and Iris for designing the costume, they could very well be borrowing those elements from this character of Jenny Ognatz, meaning that the character could still be Jenny. She could also be Dawn, but I don't think I don't think Iris's suit looking like this character's suit necessarily means that that character is not going to exist. It's a high probability that there is some sort of connection, or it could just be an Easter egg. We have a few more photos from this particular episode, and it looks like Iris is going to be doing a lot more than facing off against this metahuman. It seems like she's going to be out in the field doing some of the things that we've seen some of the other speedsters do, which means that she'll be stopping small criminals, things along that line. So maybe she'll get a grasp of what it's like to be a speedster. Maybe she's going to like it. Maybe she's going to want to stay a speedster. I mean, it's going to be kind of interesting on how they wrap all this up at the end of the episode, because I don't think they're going to keep Iris as a speedster for more than one episode. They could, but I just don't see them doing that. Oddly enough, in some of these photos, I can't tell if she's actually still wearing the costume or if this is a prototype suit. I'm still kind of confused about that. The mask is the same, but you don't have the collar or the jacket attached to it. So maybe they work on that suit throughout the episode, and sometime in the middle of the episode, we see the jacket come along with the rest of the black suit. Maybe the jacket goes over top of the actual costume itself. That would kind of explain why the color scheme is different. Like I was saying, as going through these photos, you can see that the costume is an evolution. It's a work in progress. We don't know how it's going to all play out. I am curious, though, if she's a speedster and they wear the suits to deal with the rigors of all the speed. I'm wondering how she's going to be out in the field, just like using her regular clothes. That's kind of a nitpick of mine. If you watch my channel, you know that I nitpick quite a bit, but it is kind of interesting that it seems like we're going to see an evolution of the costume. Outside of the Iris West stuff and the costume, we see that Barry is going to be the team leader. Now, call me crazy, but I always feel like that Flash should be the leader of Team Flash. But they're doing a role reversal here by making him the leader without powers and giving Iris the powers to go out and, you know, be a speedster and do what she's doing. So maybe this will help Iris be a better leader because she's out in the field, so she understands what Barry has to deal with. Therefore, when she comes back to be team leader, she actually knows a bit more about what he's capable of. So maybe that's why they're giving her the powers, so that later on in the season, she'll be able to help Barry do things because she kind of understands what it's like to be a speedster. I do have to say, after seeing these photos and reading the synopsis, I'm clearly interested in what they're going to be doing with this episode. I know a lot of people are apprehensive about giving Iris speedster powers simply because some people are not a fan of her being the leader of Team Flash. But I think that this is going to play out really well. I think it's an episode we need. I think it's going to add a lot of character to Iris in terms of understanding what speedsters are capable of. So if they are going to keep her as the leader, now she has a bit more knowledge of what she's talking about as she's giving orders in the field. So I think if that's what they're going to do, this is the right way to do it. And as we continue to browse through the photos, we have confirmation that Cisco is in fact going to be giving her a version of the suit. To what degree, we don't know. Maybe it's just a jacket, maybe it's the rest of it. We're not really sure of the context, but here he is holding a suit bag, clearly presenting a suit to Iris. I don't think he'd be giving it to anybody else. So it does look like that Cisco will play a part in designing the suit to some degree. We'll have to wait and see. So thank you guys for watching. That's pretty much it in terms of the photos of the costume and the stuff we know of Iris in this episode. And I have to say, I am really excited about it. I know it's divided a lot of fans down the middle. Some people hate the idea of Iris becoming a speedster. They think she's being totally mishandled this season. And then we have the huge fans of Iris who are going to stand behind her 100%, and they're excited to see her in the suit. I'm just interested in what's going to happen in the episode, because outside of this, we also know that we're going to get some more information on the cerebral inhibitor and the thinker, and maybe even the thinking cap. So all of that's kind of exciting. So let us know down in the comments below if you're excited for this, if you're not excited for this, and what your thoughts are on the design of Iris's new suit. That's all I got for you guys today. Take care. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And Ben will be back soon.